Good morning. Welcome. It's Thursday morning. This is the Hostos Student Leadership Academy Winter Workshop Series. This is day 4, and we're excited to have you here with us today. It's been a very impactful set of days, great speakers, talking about incredible topics, sharing knowledge, spinning knowledge, sharing with you lots of ideas about how to make this new year go extremely well for you, how to explore things on your leadership journey, how to be the best leader you can be, and make an impact on the world that you live in. I have no doubt that today you will be touched, moved, taken, stirred, all of the above by our two speakers. Starting this morning with my good friend Arel Moodie, who did some pre-video work with you. And so in order to get us started and kick us off, I invite our committee member, Denise Feliz, to come on board and do the introduction of Arel.
Morning, everyone, and welcome once again. I'm here to introduce Arel Moodie. He is a best-selling author, and he has been a featured speaker at the White House, where he was acknowledged by Barack Obama. Arel has done an assistant work on understanding human relationship dynamics to understand what makes people tick and how to positively use the universal truth. He has been quoted in the New York Times, USA Today, Forbes, Black Enterprise, Huffington Post, and also has been a contributor in shows like The Doctors. His podcast has reached millions of people in 178 countries and was #1 career podcast on Apple iTunes. Inc. magazine called him the high motivator and was named the 30 under 30 of America top entrepreneurs and has been also the 40 under 40 list of CNY business professional. Arel grew up in welfare projects of Brooklyn, New York, so he is a local, and went to graduate from college and built a $1 million event production and educational company. As a professional speaker, he has been spoken over 750,000 people in 48 states and 5 countries. For fun, our speaker likes to dance. He has performed at Madison Square Garden and has 2 viral videos, oh, and we're gonna see that later, that have made millions of views. And one of them was even featured on the Ellen Show. Please put your hands together and help me welcome our keynote speaker, Arel Moodie.
What is going on, everybody? I am so excited because this is my big promise to you. If you have ever experienced knowing that you want to achieve something, but getting in your own way, if you've ever experienced knowing what it feels like to really, really want something, but get really annoyed with yourself because you self-sabotage, my promise to you today is that you're going to not only understand why that happens, you're going to understand exactly what you can do about it. Now, out of curiosity, besides me, who here has ever experienced, virtually raise your hand or just put yes. Actually, do me a favor, in the chat, put yes. Who here besides me has ever had the experience of wanting to really, really achieve something, but doing stupid things to self-sabotage yourself and get in the way of the exact thing that you want? Who here besides me has had that experience? Okay, so far I'm not the only one. Anyone else? Let's keep it 100. Okay, let's keep it 100. If anyone would like, now out of curiosity, who here, if I could promise you by the end of the time we spend today, literally in this short 2-hour window, if I could promise you that not only would you understand why you do it, how you do it, but what to specifically do to make sure this no longer bothers you, Who besides me would find that information useful? If you would, put I would in the chat. Put I would in the chat if you think knowing that would be game changing for how you approach work, business, and your romantic life. Because let's be honest, this applies to the romantic life as well. Okay, I got you. Okay, we got Isabel. I see you, Isabel. Okay, Diamond's with me. Andre, Adrian, thank you. Abdu, thank you. Miriam, Shanor, Cindy, Chancellor. By the way, Chancellor, that's a fantastic first name. I just want to acknowledge that first name. That's a fantastic first name. George, I see you. Perry, Madeline, Hamadia, wonderful. Okay, so my promise to you is that's exactly what's going to happen here today, with one caveat. I am not about to give you a magic potion that once you know it, all your problems are solved. That is not what today is. What today is, though, is giving you the roadmap and the specific structure to make sure that this no longer controls you if you are willing to do the work. My promise to you is if you are willing to do the work, everything is going to change. So to start off this very important presentation, we have to play a game. This is how the game is going to work. If you are currently listening to my voice but not looking, this is a visual game. So I'm going to need you to look at the screen. If any of you are driving, do not look at the screen. Show a little bit of, safety on the road, okay? But for everyone else, I want you to look at the screen, because here's what's going to happen. In a few moments, I'm going to show you some numbers, okay? I'm going to show you some numbers. All those numbers are going to go in sequential order from 1 to 40. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and all I want you to do is with your finger, I want you to touch as many of the screens as you possibly can, okay? So with your finger, I want you to touch as many of the numbers as you can in sequential order. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't just be like, I touched all the numbers. I game the system, right? We're not scamming the system, okay? So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. I'm gonna let you jump in. And when I say stop, I wanna see what number you were able to get to in 30 seconds, okay? On your mark, get set, go. 30 seconds, get to the highest number you can. All of the numbers are on the page. You can do it. Keep going. Yes. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right, do me a favor in the chat. Let me know what number you were able to get to. So in the chat, go ahead and write what number were you able to get to? Okay. George, that's not a number, man. I said to go in sequential order, George. I'm not sure what you're doing, but I appreciate you acknowledging that those 4 numbers did exist. But okay, Jared got to 14. Chainer got to 4. If I'm saying your name right, please phonetically tell me how to say it so I don't butcher it. Justine Julette, 17. Okay, 18. Wonderful. Eileen got to 16. Oh, Miriam got to 20. Excuse me. Okay. 28. Nabucco. Very cool. All right. Angel's got to 10. Chancellor, 21. Excuse me, Chancellor. Fantastic name and skills. Chantel with 34. Andre with 39. Very impressive. Perry got to 40. Gangster. This is amazing. Abdul, I don't know what number. Is that your phone? I'm not asking for your phone number. I think Abdul is putting his phone number in. I'm not gonna judge. All right, we got some pretty good. Okay, very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah. If you got dyslexia, don't worry. Or whatever it is, Tiana, we're gonna keep it moving. It's gonna be confusing.
This calculus for numbers, lol.
This calcula, okay. We're gonna make it work. Don't worry, Tiana. I promise you it's going to work, okay? Or it's going to work the best we can. So don't worry, I got your back. Now, here's what we're going to do. We all were able to get to a certain number. Congratulations. This was amazing. Now, this is all we're going to do differently. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to look at the numbers you were just looking at. And I want you to come up with a game plan, okay? I just want you to come up with a game plan in how you are going to approach this strategy, okay? That's all I want you to do. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to come up with a strategy for how you can approach it. And then I'm gonna give you 30 more seconds, okay? I'm I'm going to give you 30 more seconds to enact that strategy. So 30 seconds. So before you just jump right into it, this one, you're going to look at the strategy and then implement it. Okay? On your mark, get set, strategize. 30 seconds. I want you to look at the numbers, come up with how you want to attack this, and then see if you can beat your previous number in about 30 seconds from now when I give you a second round. Maybe I should play some music. Da, na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was your time to strategize, not to actually execute the strategy. I'm going to give you 30 seconds right now to execute the strategy that you just came up with, okay? I want you to execute the strategy that you just came up with. On your mark, get set, go. 30 seconds. See if you can beat your previous number. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Do me a favor in the chat. Put the number you're able to get. Abdul, Chancellor, 39. Jared. What up, Jared? I didn't realize Jared was here. Good to see you, Jared. Rockstar. Okay, Miriam got 40. Wonderful, wonderful. They are organized, exactly. Moises, 25. 14, Justine, Gillette's a bad strategy. Whoever got 41, that's not true. There's no 41. So whoever did 41, I don't believe you. I think you are foolish and or mistyping. So I'm gonna say mistyping. Okay, Chantel says 19. Okay, second number. Okay, so Tiana went down. That's all right. That's okay. Norma got 21. Okay, wonderful. Now, I think Chancellor was able to figure out the sequence. Chancellor, is that correct? There is a 6, 8, or 10, Glenda. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. There is a 6, 8, or 10. Okay. Yes, Spirit. Chancellor, do you want to break it down? I'm choosing you. You didn't volunteer. If someone else wants to volunteer to explain what the pattern is, I'd love to hear it. So if you're someone who figured out the pattern, please unmute yourself. If you don't unmute yourself, I'm going to do it myself. Does anyone want to share?
The only thing that I recognized was that they were on the left side and then on the right side, left side, right side. I didn't understand the whole pattern, but I knew then eventually, okay, usually there's one number on the left and then the next one is on the right side.
Yes, that is part of it. Yes, Cindy, so that is part of it. Who else saw the other parts of the pattern?
There's 4 corners. Every number is set on the same end. If you look at 1, 2 will be on the next corner, 3 in the bottom corner, and 4 on the next corner. Every number is on the same end. You start from there, and then the next bottom, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now, I'm going to visually break down what Chancellor just said. Chancellor, is Chancellor your first name?
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge that's one of my favorite first names I've ever seen in my life. And I just want to acknowledge that. All right, so here's what Chancellor was explaining. These numbers, believe it or not, are not actually random. They're not random at all. They're in a very specific pattern and sequence that once I show it to you, I promise you won't be able to unsee it. So let me break this down. All of the numbers are actually in columns. The columns are not perfectly lined up, right? But they're all organized in columns. Once you get the first number, the next number is 2 columns to the right. And the number after that is in a square. This is the box that Chancellor was talking about. So 1 jumps over to 2. Then you go down 2 columns. 3 over 2 columns to 4. Same thing with 5. If you look at 5, you go over 2 columns to 6. Then you go under 5 in that same column, go down 2 numbers, and then you hit 7 to 8. So if you're able to realize it goes up, across, then down, across, and then the next numbers go up, across, down, across, and you do that square pattern, you're going to be able to get to 40 so much quicker. So I'm going to show this one more time. Does everyone see the pattern? Yeah, that's right. It goes like a square. Okay. Very, very, very cool. Okay. So you call him Chance for short. Okay, Denise. Chance, I'll call you Chance. I don't mind. All right. So square. So now that you know this information, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. Okay. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds and I want you to attack this problem. So again, each number is actually in a column that are 2 numbers, 2 columns away and then 2 numbers under, and it creates that square. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do it again. I'm going to give you 30 seconds and I want to see if you can beat your previous score. Even you, Tiana, now that you see this, I want to see if you can do it. Okay. On your mark, get set, go. Keep going. Let's go. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time! What'd you get? Hit me in the chat. What'd you get? Throw it down for me. What did we get in the chat? 40s, 20s. Great, great. 36. Wonderful. Yes. Lots of 40s. Great job, George. Perry got 40. Justine at 26. Great. You went up. Cindy at 36. Glenda at 30. 10 at 16. Great. I think you had 14 before, so you did better. Way to go. Right? Okay, I need 32s, 35, 40s. Jason apparently got a 3. I'm not sure how you did that, Jason. I feel like you didn't try. Abdul, if you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself, my friend. Abdul, do you have a question or are you just giving me a virtual high five?
Oh, no, that's past. It was the previous.
Oh, it's previous?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we have, can we lower his hand? Okay, great, wonderful, thank you. Just so I don't think someone's giving me a virtual high five. All right, 21, 28, 40s, wonderful. Naomi with 27, Jason with 30. Okay, great. So this is what's beautiful about this, okay? These numbers looked like they were completely random, but in reality, there was a pattern. Now, my argument, right? My argument is that in life, what everyone else is seeing as a random occurrence of events, others are actually seeing the patterns. And my argument would be the people who are seeing the patterns and understanding how to use them are the people who for some reason have the Midas touch, or they just seem to get everything right. So this is what I want you to understand about the work we're going to do today. Once you see it, you will never be able to unsee it. And I promise you, a lot of you are going to start seeing these patterns show up in every other person in your life. Now, I want you to have love and compassion for them because they're not going to know what you're about to know. They're not going to see this pattern because they didn't show up. And I got to tell you, if you have any friends that was supposed to be here and for some reason didn't show up, this is the last chance to get them on, because once we jump into this, you will never, ever, ever not understand what causes us to get in our own way. And I'm going to give you the system for how to get out of it if you choose to apply it. So if you're ready to jump into this and you want to jump right in, do me a favor in the chat, put let's go, spell that however you want to spell that. But if you're ready to jump in and get this going, let me see a let's go in the chat because I cannot wait to break down this information to you. Thank you, Shanor. Thank you, Chance. Thank you, Justine. Thank you, Cindy. Edwin in the house. Diamond spelling it Lego. For some reason, that gets me hyped, that particular spelling. Thank you. Afnan with the let's go. All right, there we go. Miriam got a whole bunch of O's. That's kind of making me feel like she's shouting, but in text form. So thank you for that, Miriam. All right, let's go. Denise apparently is a rebel. She went with bet. I appreciate that, Denise. We're going to keep it moving. I like it. Let's go. Let's go. Wonderful. All right, so here's what I need you to do. Understand one basic rule for today. No matter what I ask you, and this is where the rubber is going to hit the road. And whoever is doing the co-hosting with me, whether it's Jason or someone else, we are going to be going to breakout rooms. Not right now, but in a little bit. So whatever one might need to do to prepare for the breakout rooms, great. If you need me to do it, I'm happy to do it. But we're going to go into those breakout rooms in a bit. The one rule for today to make today very successful is you can't say the words, I don't know. I'll tell you why. If you've ever answered a question with I don't know, that becomes an answer. And when your mind gets an answer, it shuts off. True or not true? I'll prove it to you. If I said to you, yo, did you hear what Trump just said? And you were like, no, what did he say? And then I was like, don't worry about it. Aren't you going to be like, no, I got to Google it. I got to find out what just happened. I got to jump online. And like, I don't like not knowing the answer. But if I know the answer, it's easy for me to go whether it's cool or not cool, right? So there's something about our mind being natural problem solvers that I want you to understand you can actually leverage to unlock an incredible problem solving ability. The way to do that though, as a basic rule, is you can't say the words I don't know. Because if you say the words I don't know, then what you're giving yourself permission is to stay in a state of not knowing. But if you say, I have to figure it out, and you say, I'm not going to stop until I get an answer, you'll be good. So if I ask you to go into breakout rooms, if I ask you to share some things, the one rule is you can't say, I don't know. You have to figure out some answer. And I promise you, every single time your mind will solve. Okay. So I need everyone to get out a piece of paper. Okay. If you don't have access to a paper, you can do this on your phone in the notes section. I do recommend for this to have a piece of paper. It's going to be way more powerful with the written pen. Okay. So if you have paper and a pen, that is going to be good. And what I want you to do is draw a title and 4 columns, just like this, okay? As you can see, I don't know how to draw a straight line. I did graduate from kindergarten, but if you can do 4 columns, that's all that matters. If you, for some reason, do not have access to paper and pen, that is okay. In your phone, go into the note section, and you're gonna answer a question, and then just skip a line, answer a question, skip a line, answer a question. There's gonna be 4 basic columns that you're gonna have to answer. There's gonna be a major question in each column. So if you have your phone, just write your answer, skip a line, write your answer, okay? So does anyone need time to get a paper and pen? If so, please let me know. I'll give you a moment to get it. If you are ready to go, put in the chat, ready to go. I see, how do you say your name? Is it last name Cruz? How do you say your name? Unmute yourself because I don't want to say it wrong.
Alegna.
Alegna.
In Spanish. In English, it's Alegna.
Alegna. But you prefer Alegna?
Alegna, yes.
Alegna.
It's Angela backwards, yes.
All right, I want to say it the way you say it. Alegna. All right, so thank you. I don't want to butcher the name. Alegna got the notebook. I saw you holding it up. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, very cool. So we're ready. All right, here we go. Everyone has ready. Okay, wonderful. Now, the work we are about to do, I'm going to tell you why I'm so excited about it. This work comes directly out of Harvard and Yale researchers, Keegan and Leahy. They wrote an incredible book called The Immunity to Change, and they've done decades of research. And when I got access to this information, I was like, more people need to know about it. So this work is pulled directly from their decades of research, and I'm going to do my best to distill it down in the next hour and a half that we have together. And I promise you, it is going to be exciting. Now, For us to understand why we do behaviors that get in the way, we first have to start with what we like to call an improvement goal. So let me explain what this is. I want all of you to think about a goal that if you achieved, right, it would have the biggest current change in your life, okay? So here's what I mean by that. What would you like to see changed most in your life so that you could feel more effective and happier? I want you to take some time to think about it, and I want you to write that in the first column, okay? So on the top of your first column, I want you to write improvement goal, okay? Improvement goal. And as you can see, I have horrible handwriting. So any of you who want to make fun of me, you can't do any worse than my childhood. All right, I'm just playing with y'all. All right, so improvement goal, okay? What is one thing that if it happened, it would have the biggest change in your life? So I want you to write down what that goal is. I want you to think about something specific. This is really important. And I'm going to go into detail as you're writing and as you're thinking. Okay. I want it to be specific. So I don't want you to say, be a nicer person. Well, then my follow-up question is, well, how would you know if you're a nicer person? Right. I want you to think about what would impact your life. Is it a weight loss goal? Is it a particular behavior that you'd like to see changed? Is it a particular financial achievement? Is it a particular stop hanging around? Whatever it is, I want you to think, man, if I could just do this one thing, it would be like a big domino that if I achieved it, it would be just amazing. Like my life would be happier. I'd be more effective. It would be great. Yeah, just one for now. Okay, so I don't want you to come up with, I want to get a 4.0. I want to be a billionaire. I want to travel to Mars. I want the Loch Ness monster to be my secret pet. Like not a bunch of these. I just want one. Okay, just one specific goal. If anyone needs to work through this, I'm really, really good at helping you get clarity. So I don't want you to go, I don't have one, so I'll just move on and whatever, it's no big deal. Literally without this improvement goal, none of the other things we're going to do are going to make sense, because this goal is going to help us help you understand the self-sabotage that you do, because everyone's self-sabotage is individual. So we need the goal to understand it. So I'm going to be quiet for about a minute or so. I'm going to let you think, ponder, and come up with a really, really good goal. The floor is yours to come up with it. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll give you a minute. You want to write this on the first column that you created, that very first column that you created. I want you to go ahead and write it right here. Just write it at the top, that one goal, okay? So just write that one goal right here. That's all you have to do for now. What's the one goal that you want to achieve? Naomi, can you unmute yourself, please?
Hello.
Hey, now when you say improve my physical health, let's get more specific, because the clarity is going to lead to power. What would that look like to you to improve your physical health?
I think it will look like maybe going a run every day, or do some kind of exercise or jog out. I don't know.
Great. So some type of exercise. So I saw you also like sleep routine. Okay. So if I had to say, I wanted you to just choose one, the physical fitness, like the exercise, running or something like that once a day, or improving the sleep, which one do you think would have the biggest impact in your life right now?
Sleep.
The sleep? Okay, great. So what would that look like for you?
Go to bed every day at the same time.
What time are we talking?
Like around 9. Sleep at least 8 hours a day.
Okay, going to sleep at 9 p.m. This is great because this is really specific. If I went to sleep at 9 p.m. and got 8 hours of sleep and I was more rested, that would be like, that would improve my life tremendously right now. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, I want you just for what we're doing today to focus on that sleep goal, okay? So your goal is go to sleep by 9 p.m. and get 8 hours of sleep, okay?
Yes.
It's great, wonderful. All right,
Thank you.
Abdul, unmute yourself, please.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right, so you're saying focus on my educational program. Tell me more about that because I want to get that more specific. I want to make it really clear.
That is to concentrate fully, to be able to have, because I have a lot of distraction.
Yes.
Sometimes I will pay attention and read, and some other time I will just dislike even looking at anything.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know.
So how would you know if I asked you a month from now, hey, are you focusing on your educational programs? What would you have to be doing to tell me, yes, Arel, I am focusing on my educational programs?
I will say to give it more time and try to, because I'm addicted in some other things like media and watching TV, you know, so
Sure.
those,
So you want to, all right, let's come up with a goal. Just for now, we're going to spitball it a little bit.
yeah.
How many hours per day, if you were like, if I focused 1 or 2 hours per day just on my reading and my educational programs, I think it would change the game for me. What would that be for you, Abdul?
That will be just to be like away from the from Facebook and politics, you know, like 2 hours, 3 hours from it, because sometimes
Yeah, you get lost in it. I understand. We'll get to that. Don't worry about that for now. And I get that. Don't worry about that for now. I just want you to think about, like, if I could create a 2 hour, and this is what I'm hearing you say, if I could create a 2 hour window where I was locked in on my work.
yeah.
And if I did that daily, it would be game changing for me.
Yes, definitely so. Yeah,
Okay.
that will be.
That's what I want you to, that's what I want your goal to be, okay? I want you to say, I'm going to be locked in at least 2 hours per day on my education so that I can get the grades and do well, okay? So that's what I want. Don't worry about anything else. That's your goal, okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. So here's what I want everyone to do. So Jason, are you there, by the way? I don't know if you, do I have a co-host that can help me do the Zoom room?
Yes, I got you.
Okay, can you do the Zoom rooms for me, Jason?
How many do you want in each room?
All right, 2 people, okay? So how much we got? Like 60 people, so can you do 30 rooms? Is that too many?
You can do as many as you like. I don't
All right,
think you can do 30 because you and I are included in the number.
Okay, great. You got the special Zoom account, which I appreciate. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna throw you into a Zoom room for about 5 minutes, okay? In the Zoom room, you're gonna be matched up with someone. All I want you to do is share with the person that you're matched up with what your goal is. Now, this is what your responsibility is. If you're listening to the goal, I want you to ask yourself, is it specific, right? Because someone, okay, and I'm gonna give another example. Someone said better management of personal finances. That's a very generic idea, because better management of personal finances for Bill Gates is going to be a very, very different financial management for me, okay? So what I would want you to do, and I may say your name wrong, and I apologize if I do, Eridania, I want you in your group to come up with something very specific and measurable. Maybe it's, I want to save $100 a month. Okay, I'm making that number up. The number itself is irrelevant. It's for you. That's a little bit more specific because you can tell whether you achieved it or didn't achieve it. Does that make sense? Because if I say get better at managing it, it's like, how do you know if you achieved it? So the clarifying question for all of you to ask, if you think anything sounds too general, is this: how would you know if you achieved this goal? So if someone says something like, oh, I want to be nicer to my spouse, or I want to be nicer to my kids, whatever, the follow-up question would be is, how would you know if you achieved that goal? Okay. You want to make sure we have clarity, because if we don't have clarity on this, everything else is not going to be as effective as it can be. Okay. Couple of things to keep in mind as we go into these breakout rooms. The first thing is, it's okay if you and your partner have the same thing. That's totally fine. That's cool. The second thing is, the person whose birthday is the earliest, you're going to go first. Okay. So if you're born in January and your partner's born in March, January, you're going to share your goal first. And then after you share, we're going to switch over. Okay. So let's go ahead and send everyone into a breakout room. And we're going to do this for 5 minutes, 2 minutes for each person, 30 seconds or so, for just kind of banter. So make sure to introduce yourself, say, hi, my name is, and then find out who has what their birthday is, the person with the earliest birthday. Say your goal, and the person listening, I want you to try to clarify for them by asking, how would you know if you achieve this goal? 5 minutes. I'll see you in the breakout room. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Very cool. How did it go? Did anyone feel like yours was too generic and you couldn't get it specific? If so, raise your hand. I will help you get through it. Because if you don't have a specific goal, and I got into my session with George in my breakout room. And one of the things I shared with George is that most people, the reason why they don't achieve the things they want starts with the simple idea they don't know if they actually achieved it. I want to be happier. Well, how do you know if you're happier? I want to make more money. Well, how much more money do you want to make? So if you don't know it, you can't actually achieve it. So then you're going after a goal that like you can never hit. And then if you never hit the goal, then you feel unproductive and then you feel bad. And then you eat ice cream and cake and it makes you feel better in the moment. But then after you eat the cake, you're like, why did I just eat a whole cake by myself? And then you eat little Debbie cakes because they're so affordable and so delicious. And you get mad at yourself. And then this is spiral. We're going to show you why that exists and what to do about it. Okay. So just out of curiosity, Justine, did you have a question?
No, I was just answering what you asked. Like, I feel like mine isn't very specific and I don't really know how to make it. To treat myself better, like I find myself not focusing any energy on myself.
How would you know if you treated yourself better?
I would stop being with people that treat me badly.
Okay.
Like, you know, it's an example of how I treat myself is how other people do, right?
Okay, so for you, is it Justine Juliet? Is it Juliet?
So most people at the school just call me JJ. It's easiest.
JJ. Okay, I'll call you. Can I call you JJ?
Yeah, of course.
I just jumped the friends ladder. I get to call her JJ. All right, so JJ, if you stop being around people who don't acknowledge your worth for what you know it is, you'll know that you're treating yourself better because you're not allowing yourself to be around people who don't see you that way.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. That's really specific. This is the part that's so important because a lot of times we might say things like, oh, I want to treat myself better. Well, how do we know if we achieved it? Because if we don't, then we're just always walking around with this like feeling. So this for you may be one specific thing. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just find it's like, I get too empathetic for other people. You know, it's like, oh, they're only treating me like that because of this. They're actually a really good person. So I'm not going to cut them out because they're just, you know, they're just stressed out.
Are you an
you know
empath?
What I mean?
You feel other people's feelings very easily?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, and I could do a whole presentation on life as an empath. But the one thing I will say to you as a someone who just cares about Hostess at a deep level, so therefore I care about you, JJ, at a deep level, we train people how to treat us. And what I mean by that is like Beyonce. Think about some friend walking up to Beyonce saying something like off the cuff to her. I don't know Beyonce, but I'm assuming they would get cut off pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't think she would be down.
She's like, I know who I am, right? Like, so there's certain people, and I always think about this in high school is a great example. There were certain teachers you would roll up in the class like 15 minutes late and couldn't care less, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were certain teachers where you're like, I don't mess with this teacher. I got to show up beforehand because they don't play, right? That teacher trained you how to treat them. So I'll give that to you as just a little side to what you said.
That is helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, JJ. Tiana, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to share what me and my partner spoke about.
I would love to hear it.
Sorry, I'm just gonna lower my hand.
Is your video off? I can't see you.
It is just because
you're not camera ready?
I'm just not really decent right now, but
go ahead, we can hear your voice just fine.
Yeah, I just had a long morning. And like Jason said, some people were like cooking. I was like in the kitchen with a bathrobe, my bonnet, and making myself some sunny side up eggs with some home fries. Like
Tiana was cutting her fingernails.
Definitely wasn't cutting no toenails.
All right, go ahead, Tiana. What did you and your partner talk about?
So my partner was Angeles, and I'm actually like glad I got partnered up with her. I felt like, I don't know if this was purposeful or not, but she was dope. And the reason was, okay, so I went first because my birthday was June 1st and her birthday is June 2nd. So we're born a day apart from each other. So we're both Geminis. And she was like, I didn't really do the activity because I'm working. And I was like, OMG, me too, I'm working. So I was like, I didn't really do it. So we did it on the spot. And when we did it on the spot, we learned that we had similarities and similar backgrounds. So she's starting her path in her early childhood education career. And she said one of her goals was that she wants to be the best teacher possible, but also build different like teaching styles. Because one thing that she always noticed was that teachers who are the most effective are teachers who have flexible teaching styles. You adapt to your students. So when she said that, that stood out to me, and I was like, wow, that's amazing, because, you know, I wish more educators would think like that, because they think.
So what was her goal? I want to make
Is
sure.
like the students. So like her goal was that she wanted to be a better teacher. Like,
how would she know if she was a better teacher?
The different teaching styles. So
she wants to create them or practice them?
No, she wants to like practice them, because we learned this in school in her classes. So she actually got a job through CUNY Service Corps, and she will be starting next week. And they placed her in an after-school program so she could get fieldwork experience and know what it's like to work hands-on with the kids. Even though this is a little bit, you know, remote, she still wants to adapt, because that's a teaching style. Being able to teach online and still engage your students and not have them get lost in the sauce. So she had a goal, she made a plan, and now hopefully she will be able to execute her plan. So she said she's going to be working till the end of the semester. And by the end of the semester, she'll be able to see if she has improved or has gained any new knowledge, or like if her style was something that was effective or that needs to be improved on. And I thought that was amazing. I was like, you did such a good breakdown. I was like, just for doing that off the cuff, she did great. Like,
love it.
Off the cuff. And we did this while she was at work.
Love it. Love it. So your partner is saying, I want to be able to learn these different teaching styles so that I can implement them specifically in the job and be very successful with it. That's wonderful. I love it. That's very, very specific. So now here's what we're going to do, right? Thank you so much for sharing, Tiana. I really, really appreciate that.
For sure, no doubt.
George, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yep.
All right. So George was my partner. George, what was your improvement goal?
To be able to finish a goal without being distracted.
Yes. So George's big thing is, he said that his iPad and his Mac and his iPhone are all connected. If he gets a notification about like politics or social media, he starts something, then gets distracted. So now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to work with George a little bit, and I want you to come up with this. Under your goal, okay? So you just wrote your goal right here. Underneath it, I want you to come up with a couple of steps, specific steps you can take to move you towards that goal, okay? So George, what were some of the steps we talked about that you can do to move you toward not not being distracted? So what are you going to do? We talked about setting the clock and setting those things. Tell us what we talked about.
Set a specific time I want to set the goal for, set an alarm to do it, and then when I'm able to do that, I know that I am on target to achieve my goal.
Right. So George is going to sit down and say, I want to do 30 minutes of my health class, right? So he's going to set his alarm for 30 minutes from now. And the specific step he's going to take in that 30-minute period, do his best to not be distracted by a notification, a ping, a text, or whatever it might be, right? So there may be some steps you need to take in that, George, like maybe putting your phone on airplane mode for 30 minutes or do not disturb, right? So there's some specific things you can do so you can be locked in. You know, maybe, I mean, you're probably not going to log out of the apps, right? But like, you know, making sure it's on airplane mode or something like that, right? So these are specific things he can do. Set the time, try to work within that period, right? And for Tiana and Angeles, a specific goal probably be learning this specific content, teaching that content in the virtual world to see if it works. So those very, very specific tasks are really, really, really good. So what I want everyone to do is I want you to go back into the breakout room. Okay, I want you to go back into the breakout room, and we're going to do 5 minutes again. And with your partner, I want you to come up with some very specific steps that you can take to move towards achieving this goal. Okay, So if someone said something like, hey, JJ said, I don't want to be around people who are going to treat me poorly. Well, what are some specific steps we can take? Well, if someone starts like, talking in a way she doesn't like, she can excuse herself. That's a specific step she can take. Or she can, fake like a phone call came in and remove herself from that conversation. Or she can say, hey, I don't appreciate that. Please, I know you might have a bad day, but I don't like to be spoken to that way. There's a lot of things that you can do. And what they are not as important as you getting clear on steps you can take. So I don't want you to be like, I'm about to go in there and I'm gonna like, it doesn't have to be anything like what, like it has to be something you really want to do that you believe is possible for you to do, and then it will move you towards the goal. Okay. So Jason, let's throw everybody back into the breakout rooms. Let's do 5 minutes, and I want everyone to share what is the steps you want to take. Now, this time, the person with the last birthday, you're going to go first. Okay. So if you have the later birthday, you're going to go first in this particular Zoom session. Okay. Yeah. So we'll make it work. Ask questions. We'll ask questions. The secret to getting anyone to talk or to figure it out is to ask questions. Okay. So if you want to use the chat in the Zoom room, by all means, if your partner's microphone is not working, not a problem. You can absolutely use the chat. So we're going to send you to the same rooms, and I'm going to see you back here in 5 minutes. If some people, we'll just randomize it actually. Let's just keep it moving. We're going to mix it up. Okay. So what's the goal? What are the specific steps? 5 minutes, head to the Zoom room.
So just if you haven't accepted your invitation to the breakout room, somebody might be waiting there for you. I appreciate your participation.
Hey, Jason, I'm back in the main room. Your wife and I were actually partnered, but I think she got booted off. She went to take care of the little one.
Okay. Yeah.
No problem.
Thanks, W.
I didn't have anybody in my room, so I came back.
Are you able to put Denise and I in the same room?
Yeah.
Denise, we can partner.
Denise, what room were you in?
11.
Okay. Let me move you. Now. You're good. Did you get that?
I didn't get anything yet.
You're in the same room, Jessica. I moved her to 27 with you.
Oh, I am? Okay, so how do I get back into that room? I see it. Okay, thanks.
Hello, I was in a breakout room, but I was there by myself.
Okay. Which room were you in?
20 something, not sure. I was waiting for a bit because I know it takes a while, but no one showed up.
Let me. So you were in room 20?
Yeah.
Okay, let me move you into 16.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And move. Denise, did you get the invitation? No?
No, I didn't.
I sent. You were in 11, right? Okay, let me move you. 27. Got it?
You put me in 27 now.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Were we able to come up with some specific strategies? Yes. Okay, wonderful. Great
Yeah.
job, everyone. Do me a favor. Give your, because we're not near anyone, so just give yourself a high five and just give yourself some love. It's called a solo clap, I guess, but we'll just do that. Thank you, George. Great job, everybody. So let's move into the next part. So this is where it's going to start getting really, really fun and exciting. Now, for most people, what they do when they write down a goal is they go, okay, I have my goal. I have my next actions. Done. Finished. Let's go do it. But now we have to understand what's implied by this goal so we can start understanding how self-sabotage shows up in our individual lives. So I want to ask you a couple of questions, okay? The first question, I want you to think about the goal that you just wrote down. And I want you to ask yourself, what would be available to you with this goal achieved that is not available to you now? Okay. So you all set down a specific goal for some reason. I want you to ask yourself, what would be available to you? So if you said something like, I want to go to sleep at 9 o'clock and sleep for 8 hours. Okay, If I went to sleep for 8 hours at 9 o'clock, what would then be available to me that's not currently available to me now? Maybe it's, oh, I'd be way more energized in the morning and way more focused. If I was more productive in the morning, I would win the morning and I would win the day. So that's what it would be, right? You have more time, Chance. You have more time to do what I do, right? Shauna Cherie said, we have more passive income. I think she wanted to get an investment property. I think I saw that correctly. So very, very cool, right? So like this would be available to you now. So do me a favor, in the chat, please answer this for everyone to see. If I achieve the goal, what would be available to you that's not available now? So my partner, George, said, I want to be more focused and attentive when he's studying. Well, George, my question to you is, if you were able to study for 30 minutes without getting distracted, what do you believe would be available to you? What would happen in your life if you were able to do that you feel like is not happening right now? So I want you to take some time to think about that. I'll give you a minute or two, and then I want you to write that answer in the chat for all of us to see. And please be brave. This is a safe place. No one is going to judge you for writing whatever you write, because the more we can see other people, the more we can actually get inspired to get clarity on our actions. So you sharing is not selfish. It's actually selfless because it's helping others. Okay. All right. So Leighton, and I may be saying your name wrong, so please correct me if I am saying it wrong. Leighton. Thank you, Leighton. Leighton says, I'd have a certain sense of freedom and responsibility. Okay, wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Christiana says time. Okay. Someone says, and I don't want to say your name wrong, is it Mary Luatu? Did I say it right? Diallo?
Yeah, it's Marliatu.
Mary Liatu, thank you very much. The ability to be more involved in more opportunities. Great. Okay, wonderful. More responsibility and get money from something I'm already doing. All right, Miriam, thank you. Be more organized. Thank you, Ifnan. Clear and focused mind. Wonderful. Estelle, more financially stable, less stress. Great. More educated. Christiana, time with my children. Jessica, more energy, clarity, and confidence. Wonderful. Hold on. Andre Thompson, can you unmute yourself? Andre, are you there?
Hi.
So when you say self-doubt, so if you achieved your goal, what would be available to you is self-doubt?
Maybe I misunderstood the question.
So I want you, what was your goal, Andre?
Okay. Kind of putting me on the spot, but
yes, I am.
building stronger and more meaningful relationships.
Okay. Is there anyone in particular you want to build those relationships with? Friend, romantic, family?
Yeah, friends.
Friends. Wonderful. So let's say you had stronger relationships with some friends. What would be available to you with those stronger relationships that's not available to you right now, you think?
Just to like, I don't know, step up and like, I guess like to be more outgoing and stuff.
So that's what you would have to do to achieve it. The question I'm actually asking is, I want you to imagine for a moment, Andre, right now, you have those stronger relationships with your friends that you wanted. You have it right now. What would you feel now that maybe is not a feeling you have previously? So like right now, your friends, like you're hanging out more, you're talking more. And I know COVID has like interrupted a lot of how friendships can develop, and it sucks, right? But let's say you built those strong relationships. What would you feel, what happiness or what would be present to you emotionally that's not present to you now?
Man, it's a lot.
Give me one.
I don't know.
What's that? Pride?
Yeah.
A sense of pride. Okay, this is great. This is great, Andre. And by the way, I want to acknowledge Andre for a second because he did not let himself say, I don't know. And I love that about you, Andre. You did not let yourself do it. You were like, no, because you remember, I'm going to work through it. So I really, really appreciate that. So if you, Andre, had a stronger connection with your friends, right? Especially during COVID, and I get how tough that is. It would give you a feeling of pride that you would like to have, right? Awesome. Hold on to that. This is important because there's another question I want you to think about. This is where the magic starts happening. Okay. So I want to open up the magic for you a little bit. What does the commitment to achieving this goal imply about you currently? So let me explain this because I know that's a little bit of a tough question. Okay. So I'm not just asking this to Andre, by the way, I'm asking this to everybody. Okay. I want you to think for a moment. If you're saying, as an example, I want to go to sleep at 9 o'clock and get 8 hours of sleep so I feel more rested in the morning. Well, what does the commitment to achieving that goal imply about you currently? Well, it probably implies you feel tired and lethargic right now. You feel like you're not your best self. You feel like you're not as productive as you could be. Does that make sense? Right? This is all in column 1. We haven't even gotten to column 2 yet. Don't worry about column 2 yet. We're still in column 1. Okay. So Naomi says, I would be more energized and focused to do activities I want to do, like meditation, walking, yoga, reading books, and studying. I would have control of my time and set a time to make passive income. I love it. I love it. George says, I feel like I'm not satisfied with my current output. Great. So George is saying he wants to have more attentiveness. What's implied with his commitment to more attentiveness is he would be more satisfied with his output. Right, George? Is that fair?
Yes.
Exactly. This is big. There is an implication of every goal we set. And I want everyone to catch this. I want you to listen really closely. If you're not paying attention, I need you to pay attention to this. Every single goal that we set, there is an implication in that goal. So if I want to lose weight, maybe what's implied in that goal is I don't feel comfortable in my current body, or I don't feel energized in my current body, or I don't feel sexy in my current body, right? Whatever it might be for you. Every single goal we set, there's an implication of that goal. And I want you to think for a moment, what does it mean that you want to achieve this goal, right? So this is where it gets fun. We're going to move to column 2, okay? So on column 2, where I put my marker, there I did, okay? I want you to write this, okay? Behavior, I'm going to write it like that so you can see me right, that goes against my goal. We should be all really good at this, okay? We should be really good at figuring this out. So in the second column, the top of it is right here. The behaviors that go against my goals. So here's what I want you to think. What are you doing or not doing that is keeping you from achieving the goal in column 1? So for George, it's real simple. What is he doing? He's checking social media. He's checking the news. He's letting his device distract him instead of staying focused. So that's what he's doing instead of achieving the goal. So I want you to think about what you're doing or not doing. So for example, someone wrote down that they want to, I think, buy an investment property, right? So you would probably have to be, and again, I don't know what your strategy is to how you're buying, but let's say you want to buy a unit to rent, you'd probably have to be walking around the neighborhood that you would like to buy houses in to get a sense of the neighborhood. So if you're not doing that, that's not going to allow you to achieve the goal. You probably need to be checking the MLS listings and checking the different houses that are coming up and finding out like, okay, well, how do I get approved for a loan? Is there some education that I need to do? So there's all these things you need to do, but there's things you're also not doing that if you don't do these things, it'll keep you away from your goal. So here's what I want you to do. Jason, we're going to break out into breakout rooms again. We're going to do 5 minutes each, okay? In the breakout room, I want you with your partner to be very honest and very open, because no one here is perfect. We all do this. This is why this column exists. instead of going after and doing the actions in column 1, what are we doing instead that's keeping us from making our commitment to the goal realized? What do you do? What social media shows up for you? Instead of eating kale, you're eating cake, right? Or, whatever it might be, okay? So I want you to think about what you're doing. Okay, great. So Marilu Atu says, I feel like I have self-doubt in speaking and expressing myself in English, especially when I'm speaking to people who English is their first language. So my question to you is, instead of speaking to people in English, when you believe English is their first language, what do you do instead? Do you speak in your native tongue? Do you hang out with people who speak your first language more than making other friends? Do you choose maybe text instead of speaking? If you can unmute yourself real quick, let's just work you through this.
Yes, I hang out more with people like that speak my language, my first language.
What first language do you speak, by the way?
I speak Fulani and French.
Okay, great. So instead of speaking directly with people who speak English, you'll find people who speak your primary language, hang out with them, and speak in that form of French. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I love it. That's what I want you to put down in your second column. That's all. We don't need, and this is very important for everyone. I don't need you to analyze. I don't need you to say, well, why am I doing this? I don't want you to be like, I know I shouldn't be doing it, Arel, but I do it anyway. All I want you to do is get present with the behaviors that you do. So Marilu too, you might want to say, well, I noticed that I joined these clubs, or I noticed I go to these websites, or I noticed I go to these chat groups where I feel safer than going to these where I feel like I might put myself out there more. So all I want you to do is get clear on what it is that you're doing instead of your goal. And I want you to talk this with your partner. And then as you get clarity on them, write them down in column 2. Okay. So we're going to go to our breakout rooms. The person with the longest hair, you go first. Okay. So we're going to put you in the breakout room. The person with the longest hair, you go first. What are the behaviors that you're doing that keep you from achieving the goal that you wrote down? 5 minutes. We're going to head to the breakout room now. Welcome back, everyone. Real quick, do me a favor. In the chat, let me know. Do you feel like you're getting enough time? Do you feel like you need more time? Do you feel like it's just enough time? Do you feel like you're sitting there like we ain't got nothing to say for 2 minutes around and we just staring at each other, checking out the color of our irises, feeling socially uncomfortable through this COVID thing? Let me know. Like, I want to get your feedback. Do you feel like you're getting enough time? Is the 5 minutes a good window? Yeah. Okay. Cindy says need a little bit more time. More than enough. More than enough. Some even need more
All right,
time.
that was 5 minutes.
That was 5 minutes. Yeah, that was quick, right?
2.
I know, right? That's because you are just having such a great connection with your partner. I'm digging it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna help out. Okay. It was 3, whatever it was. We need more time. Jason, whatever that time, what was that time, Jason? How much did we just do? 5 minutes? It was 5 minutes. We'll do 6 minutes on the next one. Okay, Jay? We'll do 6 minutes on the next one. Okay. All right. So now, by the way, this is important, okay? When I put you into the Zoom room, don't be like, yo, you heard James Harden is on the Brooklyn Nets right now? That's crazy. Don't do that. We got to stay focused, okay? We got to stay focused. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm very excited that the Brooklyn Nets is about to win the championship. I'm very excited about that. I've been a New York fan for a long time. The Knicks ain't going to win a championship in my lifetime. So we're going to be happy with a Brooklyn Nets championship, hopefully. All right, so anyway. Well, they got to learn how to play together, which is a whole other thing. Yanira put there's going to be a video essay contest. Thanks for putting that in there. $50 Amazon gift card. Hollers. That's what's up. Okay, Miriam
Wait a minute. Now that I'm seeing this, Jason, I never received my Amazon gift card.
Where the Amazon gift cards at, Jason?
Or my gift card. I won that ugly sweater competition. That's
Later.
And that was around Christmas.
All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, people. This isn't get on Jason for not giving you your Amazon gift cards. Jason's got enough going on in his life. He don't need no talk back. I'm just playing. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, let's go into this next portion. And I was telling George, because he's my partner, I get so excited. Like, can you tell I'm excited about this? I get so excited about this. The magic doesn't happen until the 4th column. Okay, so we're coming up to the 3rd column, but the magic doesn't happen till the 4th one. Everything we're doing is the setup, okay? Because this 3rd column is gonna give you some really, really powerful insights that you've yet to have on yourself, okay? So here's what we have so far, okay? We have our goal, what we wanna do, which is column 1. We have the things we need to do to achieve that goal, right? So we have the goal. The things we need to do to achieve that goal. We're now clear on what are the things that we do that get in the way of that goal. And we're aware of what the goal implies. So the goal implies like there's something lacking, not enough energy or not enough money or, not enough pride or not enough achievement or output. So there's like an implication, which is really cool. So let's go to column 3. Okay, column 3. Stay with me, okay? Stay with me. I want you on the top of column 3 to write hidden competing commitments, okay? Hidden, so write the word on the top of your column, competing commitments. Oh, this is about to get so saucy. I'm so excited. Okay, now listen. Hidden competing commitments, okay? I want you to imagine for a moment. Let's go with Tiana, because you're such a great volunteer. I'm gonna volunteer you even though you didn't raise your hand. Tiana, can you hear me? Unmute yourself.
And I can hear.
Wonderful. What was your goal? What was your goal?
So my goal was working to improve on making healthy relationships.
Great. And how would you know if you achieved that goal?
I started this, I want to say about 8 months ago.
Great.
So I've been tracking my progress for the last like 8 months.
So how would you know if you are getting better?
I got rid of 4 toxic relationships in my life.
Yeah.
And I gained 5 new positive relationships in my
Great.
life.
So these are all things that you've done. So we're talking about a goal is in the future. It's something we want to achieve. So what in this context do you still want to achieve?
What I want to achieve is being consistent with my relationships. So
Okay.
you know how you said that like during this time it's harder to make friends, and that sometimes because we're so like it's everything is remote, we're at home, you can become withdrawn from others.
Yes.
You can become withdrawn from work, you can become withdrawn from school.
Great. Give me one relationship, friend, romantic, family that you'd like to be consistent with. That would improve your life.
I do want to be consistent with my friends. I've kind of been slacking and they've been going through some stuff. I actually just found out that one of my friends tested COVID positive.
Wow.
And it was really rough. Another one of my friends just found out like 3 days ago that they have cancer.
Oh.
So I've been feeling like, sorry guys, just
No, that's okay.
like I could have been like better at being there for them.
Okay.
And like I just became withdrawn from like everyone else.
Okay, great. So let's
Now I'm just working on just
so there
being
are some, this is wonderful, Tiana, and I appreciate you being so vulnerable and open with us. It's not easy to share these things publicly, and I really just want to honor you. If we could just give like one of those spirit fingers or jazz hands in Tiana's honor right here, because that is really powerful. So being consistent with these friends, that's important to you. Now, what are the things that you do that pull you from being that consistency with your friends? You said withdrawn was one of the things. What does that look like?
Like I put my phone a lot on do not disturb now.
Yep.
And like if I post to social media, it'll be like things that are like only pertaining to like work or school.
Yes. So the things that you're doing that go, instead of checking in or connecting with them, you're putting your phone on do not disturb. And then when you are interacting with social media, it's more about putting out school and work related things and not connecting with them. Okay, wonderful. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting, Tiana. So stay with me, because I'm going to ask you some questions in a way that you probably have never been asked before. So just stay with me, okay? I want you to imagine for a moment you are actually being consistent with your friends. I want you to imagine that you're being there for them in a way that you'd want to be there for them. Do you notice any worry that comes up if you're achieving this goal? Is there anything that might make you feel slightly uncomfortable or nervous if you're actually showing up for them in that way? Can you notice anything for yourself? And if not, let me know, because I can ask some more questions.
I'll say sometimes I am afraid to show up for others because I feel like sometimes I can, like, you know how they say don't focus on the past, just like move forward. I can kind of like focus on the past and be like, well, there has been occasions where I have, you know, been there and I have shown up every single time and have supported that person. But then when it comes to me and it's time to show up for me, like all of a sudden my support system just fell and it disappeared.
Okay, this is great. So if I'm Tiana, if Tiana, show up consistently for my friends, there is a slight worry that says, will they be there for me? Or will they be supportive for me? Does that show up for you? Okay, yeah. This is big. I want you to hold on to this. Okay, this is big. That is what is called a competing commitment. Okay, so let's go deeper into it. Actually, excuse me, I said that wrong. That's the worry, okay? The worry is, well, if I'm consistent for my friends and there for them, I have a worry based on past experiences that they're not gonna be there for me when I need them, okay? So now you're protecting yourself from something by doing that, fair? What are you protecting yourself from by not putting yourself in a position to be there for people and not letting them not be there for you? You're protecting yourself from what feeling?
Disappointment.
Yes. Yes. Tiana, you just right out the gate. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't get so excited about disappointment. I'm sorry, but I get really excited about this work because this fourth column is going to be nutso, right? Okay, but for you, Tiana, the competing commitment. So the worry is people won't be there for me. And the competing commitment is I don't want to feel disappointment. You see that? So now let me ask you this, Tiana, what does disappointment feel like to you? How would you, when you are disappointed by others not being there for you, what does that feel like to you?
I feel let down, honestly. Like, I just feel like, you know, like, damn, you know, like I could be there for you in X, Y, and Z shapes and forms. And then all of a sudden, like when it comes to me and I need something or it's my time of need, like y'all are gone.
Right. So, and tell me if I'm hearing you correctly, and if I'm not, please correct me. I have this improvement goal that says I want to be there more consistently for my friends. However, the behavior that I do that goes against it is I put my phone on do not disturb. I post more about social work and life, because if I did show up for my friends, my worry is that they won't be there for me. So my competing commitment is I don't want to feel disappointment. So I put myself in a position to do things to not allow myself to feel disappointment. So this, my friend, is called the brake pedal. So let me explain what I mean by that. That first goal, yo, tell me if this resonates with you, Tiana, or anyone listening. Goal, you get excited about it. Maybe the first even like week, you're super excited about a goal. Yo, I'm gonna be more consistent this year. New Year's just passed. I'm gonna be there for my friends. I'm mad excited. That's the gas pedal. Woo, mad excited, right? But the third column is, but I don't wanna feel disappointment, is you pressing the brake pedal. So if you've ever had the experience of, I really want to do something, but for some reason I'm not doing it, it's because of this competing commitment. So for you, Tiana, and I'm so grateful that you shared that, because by the way, in the chat, was it helpful to see Tiana go through that process, right? This wasn't just about you, Tiana. This was absolutely for everyone. Was this helpful? In the chat, give me a yes. Was it helpful to see her go through that? Because we get to see how this plays out in the real world, right? So JJ says yes, Adrian says yes, Estelle says yes, thank you. All right, other people feel the same way, right? So you're not alone, Yanira understands it. So there's power in this sharing, okay? I wanna give you a couple more examples, and then we're gonna go into the breakout rooms for a moment, okay? I'm gonna give you a couple more examples. I did this program with this corporation, and I asked the same question. One woman said her goal is, I want to lose weight. Okay, that was her goal. She wants to lose weight. Very common goal. Wonderful. Well, what does she do to go against it? She says, well, I go to this place that has wings and I eat wings and drink beer at this particular place. This was like pre-COVID, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Well, what are her hidden competing commitments? It was, if I don't go out with my friends and eat wings and drink beer, then they won't hang out with me. Her worry was she won't be able to bond with her friends. So what's her competing commitment? I can't lose weight because I care about friendships too much. Now, I would argue, and Tiana, feel free to jump in with this, feeling disappointment, you don't want to put yourself through that. You don't want to experience that because of how you emotionally feel. So you are creating actions like do not disturb and work in school to not set yourself up for that potential disappointment. Is that fair? You can just nod your head because I'm looking at you. Okay. Tiana says that's fair. Okay. Now, does anyone see their worry and their competing commitment? Does anyone see this for themselves? If do, I'd like you to share it, because I think the more people we can see going through this, the more powerful it will be for others. If anyone sees it, in the chat, do me a favor, because I don't have everyone's window pulled up. Just write, I'm seeing it. Or if there's anyone who needs help walking through it, I can help walk you through it. And I'm going to give you some questions you can ask. Specifically, here's how you discover it, okay? I'm going to read this question to you. I want you to imagine if the opposite of your undermining behavior happened, do you detect in yourself any discomfort, worry, or fear? Okay. By engaging in the undermining behavior, what worrisome outcome are you preventing? So in Tiana's case, she's preventing disappointment. So the worry is, well, there's not going to be that commitment. For my person who cared about the losing weight, well, if she actually started not eating wings and drinking beer and going out with her friends, she would lose weight. But the worry is she would lose friends. So the worrisome outcome that she wants to prevent is losing friends because they've been drinking beer and eating wings for years together. Okay. All right, let's do one more. Perry, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Perry, thank you so much. What is your goal?
My goal is to be open to more criticism.
Open to more criticism. Okay, great. What do you need to do to be open to more criticism?
I need to listen without reacting, and
Great.
also I need to have a clear conscience on my mind. Like, don't have anything on my mind, just focus on what I need to get done to be a better person.
Now, if you allowed yourself to be open to more criticism, what would be available to you that you feel like is not available to you now?
Let's see. I will evolve more as an individual.
Wonderful.
And I would be more open and willing to give advice to other people because I have worked on myself.
Great. Now, what are the behaviors that you're doing, Perry, that go against you achieving this goal?
Let's say if it's criticism about myself, about actions that I'm doing, I would just like shrug it off or change the subject because I don't want to hear what the other person has to say.
So when you are getting that criticism, you just kind of shrug it off and be like, and you kind of change it. You don't stay in it. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, let me ask you this. I want you to imagine that you are receiving criticism that's going to improve you, right? So hopefully it's, I'll give you a little tip. This is just from me to you, Perry. Never take criticism from someone you would not take advice from. Okay. That's just an Arel belief, right? Like,
okay.
A lot of people are going to give me like criticism. And it's like, well, if I want to take advice from you, I'm sure I'm not going to take criticism from you. That's an Arel thing. Okay. But I want you to imagine you're taking criticism from people. Do you notice that if you started taking it, what are you worried that would happen? What do you feel that might make you uneasy if you start taking that criticism? What shows up for you?
I would feel like I don't have a voice. Like I would just listen to what people have to say and not put my own input. So I would just be like, okay, I agree with you, and just roll with the punches. But I wouldn't sit down and be like, well, what do I think?
So what is your fear then that you're gonna lose your own voice in theirs?
Right.
That's big. So do you have a competing commitment that says, I want that advice, but I don't want to lose my own voice and have my own sense of self?
Exactly.
Great. So
right there.
Yeah. So what you're committed to is, I do not want to lose my own inner voice and my own sense of self to be someone else's view of who I am.
Right. Like I don't want to become what you want me to. Like I have to see the change in me. You can't change me. Like you can't. Right. How can I say? I'm trying to put in words.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Keep going. You're there.
Like you can't change me. I have to see it for myself. You can't. Like the things you want to see in me. Like let's say for instance, how can I say? I'm gonna think of an example. Let's see. Let's say music, whatever. It's just an example. So let's say the type of music I listen to is mainly, hip hop, R&B, and let's say, oh, it has too many curse words. Oh, you should listen to more music that has a message. Or why you always listen to music like that? You're gonna be a bad person. Yes. So it's like you want to change what I listen to. You want to change what I do. Like this is me. This is not you.
So I want you to see this. This is really great. Thank you so much, Perry, right? So the gas pedal is, I want to be open to more feedback and criticism because I know it's going to help me be better. But The brake pedal, column 3, I don't want to lose who I am to please other people. And then I lose my sense of self. I am committed to not losing my own voice.
Right.
All right, so this is wonderful. So here's what I want everyone to do. We're gonna do 6 minutes, okay? Because I know 5 wasn't enough. We're gonna do 6 minutes. We're gonna go into the breakout rooms. And what I want you to do is answer these questions, okay? Hold on. If you imagine doing the opposite of the behaviors in column 2, do you detect any discomfort, worry, or vague fear? So for example, I'll give you an example for me because I had set the goal of going to sleep early like one of the other people did. I forget who it was, that they want to go to sleep at 9 p.m., right? My fear was, well, if I go to sleep at 9 p.m., I'm not going to have time to myself because the evening is usually when I have time to myself. During the day, I'm doing things for everyone else. In the evening, it's time for myself and time for me to connect with my wife. And if I go to sleep early, then I'm not going to be able to do like fun stuff like watch NBA highlights, and I'm not going to be able to have nice long conversations with my wife, and my life's going to not be as fun. That was the discomfort I felt if I went to sleep early. So even though I'm excited about being energized and having more energy and starting my day early, I was afraid of losing my own personal time and the connection time with my spouse. So what I want you to do is go into the breakout room and ask your partner, well, if you were actually doing the opposite of the undermining behavior, if you did turn your phone off, if you did achieve these goals, what are you worried about? And that worry, what are you committed to preventing because of that? So if you engage in the behavior that keeps you from your goal, what worrisome outcome are you committed to preventing? Okay, so I want you to go into the chat, go into the breakout room, 6 minutes. The person with the darkest eyebrow color, you're gonna go
Everybody went into a room. That's great. And doing their breakout sessions. Looks like everything's going very well. And we have a timer that's on this time, so they should be coming back in time. I want to give a shout out to Arel for doing a great job. And thank everybody for participating, especially at this point. When we're getting into the main focus of why we came together for the workshop. And we'll wait. It'll be done in a couple minutes.
How many people was like, damn, how was that 6 minutes already? Anybody have that experience? Like, what the heck? I was just having a great, I was just getting in, dang it, we was getting somewhere. I know, man, the limitations on time. But I want to catch this because we have 8 minutes left. That was 6 minutes, Chance. I'm sorry. That was 6 minutes. I know it doesn't seem that way. Okay. Someone said 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Now, did anyone? Oh, Ahelis didn't have a partner. All right, don't worry. We'll get you for the next one. We'll get you for the next one. Okay. Did anyone, real quick, did anyone have an aha moment? Like, oh my gosh, I'm committed to this idea. Like, that's big for me. I never really realized that before. Did anyone experience that? Let me hear one person, if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone.
Me.
What you got, Chance?
So no, I did very much recognize what it was, but what I didn't, as I was discussing it, is that I literally watched somebody every day actually showcase my fear.
Okay.
Every day at the
Yeah.
house, I was always afraid of the ideal of, committing to taking care of everything, and that if everything is taken care of or whatever the kid, if I do go about and take care of this and take care of school and do all of this, I will not have time for me and my games and what I want to do.
Yes.
That my life would just be a record. I would just be stuck in this zone and death and but I didn't realize that every day I watch somebody else go to work maybe 6 days out of the week, get back home, check their email, check other stuff, sit there, eat, or whatever the case, and be a slave to it. And it was, I guess, it was playing on my actual fear and insecurity.
Mm.
And I never realized that I was just watching it. And that's what kept me in the place where I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Well, it's powerful to be able to recognize how it shows up for you in your real life, right? That's really powerful. That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I really, really appreciate that, brother. Really appreciate that. So here's where the magic happens. This is what we've been all day. We've been setting ourselves up for column number 4. If you're ready to find out what column number 4 is, do me a favor in the chat, say I'm ready, because this next 5 minutes is going to change the rest of your life. But I got to know if you're ready. So in the chat, let me see an I ready. Don't leave me by myself. Who's writing it? Let me see in the chat. All right. Thank you. Edwin's here. Avnet's here. Yanesi's here. All right. Wonderful. Jessica, love it. Miriam, JJ, Tiana, everyone is. Okay. Wonderful. 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 Chantel, I love how you doubled up. All right. Column number 4, okay? Here we go. I want you to write the words big assumption in your 4th column, okay? Big assumptions, okay? Big assumptions. Now, here's what I want you to understand. You right now have a big assumption about how the world works. You assume if I turn my phone off, I'm not going to be there for my friends and family. So my assumption is if I turn my phone off so I can focus and someone texts me and they need me and I'm not available, I'm going to be letting them down. That's an assumption. Because you know what I know, and I'm using George as an example because he was my partner. I know people right now who have no problem turning their phone off. I know a friend at 7 o'clock, she turns her phone off. And I remember saying to her specifically, 7 o'clock, but what if someone needs you? What if there's an emergency? You know her response to me was, George? She said, it never happens. It never happens. We're planning for this meteor to fall and hit the planet in the 30 minutes we turn our phone off. It never happens. So there's an assumption that you have. For example, I think it was Perry who said she has this goal. I want to be more open to criticism so I can grow, right? The hidden competing commitment is, but I don't want to lose my voice. The assumption that Perry could be making is, if I listen to what other people have to say enough, I will lose my own voice. That's an assumption. Junior asked a great question in chat, but what if it does happen? I don't know, because it's not happened yet. Here's what I do know. If someone is in an emergency and they need you, they'll find you. I just know it to be true. They'll find you. They will find a way to get to you. They will. I've never seen, and by the way, if someone sends me a chat, a text, it's not an emergency. If it's an emergency, you know what someone's gonna do? They're gonna call me, right? That's just what it is. No one's gonna be like, I just cut my foot off. Let me send a text to my friend. Hey man, my foot got cut off. I'm profusely bleeding. No, you call someone if it's a real emergency. So if you turn off the notifications for your chat, for example, let your phone go. Yeah, call 911. Don't call me. Thank you, Chance. Right? But this is the big thing. I want you to catch this. Every single one of your competing commitments is based off of an assumption that you have about how the world works. You believe the world works a certain way, but this is what's going to be really important, because I know we're coming down to the last few minutes here. So stay with me. Don't go anywhere. I really want you to get this part. It's going to take 5 more minutes. Okay. The assumption that you have is no, Arel. This is how the world works. I've experienced it enough. And here's what I know to be true. And if you don't believe me, look at the world. Is it possible that 2 people can look at the exact same situation and have 2 different stories? Is that possible? If you don't believe me, I'll tell you right now, there's about 75 million Americans that love our current president. And there's about 79 million people who didn't. Okay, they're looking at the same person, but some people see it differently. So one of the things I want you to understand is the way that you assume the world works, it is not the way the world works. It is not a rule. It is an assumption. It is an assumption. Junior, yes, it is more complicated. I'm using it as an example for illustrative purposes. The point is, we have someone right now that millions of people love and millions of people hate. That is a fact. Okay. Now, obviously, this isn't a political conversation, so I don't want to take it into that direction. I'm just bringing to the fact that this is a perspective thing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, what are the assumptions that you're making? For Tiana, she has an assumption that says, if I show up for people consistently, they may not show up for me. Now, she's going to say, but Arel, I had those past experiences. Yes, you did have that in the past, but is that what's currently happening, or is that the past? There's an assumption that says it's going to happen again. That's an assumption. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessary. There's an assumption. So here's what I want everyone to do. I want you to take 1 minute. Okay, I want you to take 1 minute. I want you to ask yourself, what are the big assumptions that you have about the way the world works that makes your competing commitment true? Yes, Junior, everything is based on assumptions. Yes, unbelievable, correct. What we need to do is figure out what are our assumptions about the world, because there's one more step we need to take. So I want you to ask yourself, if I'm committed, let's do one person. Someone unmute yourself. I want to make this real. Someone unmute yourself.
Junior's here.
Who is that?
This is Junior.
Junior, what's up, Junior? What is your competing commitment? Column 3.
Commitment.
Well, it's a little hard to hear you, Junior.
My commitment is well, I guess let me tell you what my goal is anyways.
What's your goal?
My goal is to my goal is to finish writing my novel that I'm writing,
Wonderful.
and
You want to
within
write
this
the
year.
novel. Wonderful. What are the
Within-
behaviors that you do that stop you from writing the novel?
Wait, what happened? You cut out a little.
Yep. What are the behaviors that you do that stop you from writing the novel?
Not knowing how to obtain my flow state.
Wonderful. So you don't know how to attain it. So what do you do instead?
I wait for it to come.
So you just kind of procrastinate then, is that what I'm hearing? You're just waiting for it, it doesn't come, and it's
Yes.
like, wonderful. Now, what if you were in your flow state and you wrote your novel and you put it out there? Do you notice any nervousness about that?
Yes, there's a large nervousness. The fact that you don't know if anyone's gonna like it or not. These are these are always the fears, if no one's gonna like it, if it's not gonna make it, if no one's gonna buy it, or
you spend all this time writing this novel, putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, and you put it out there. What if no one likes it? No one buys it. That's a big worry. So then, what are you committed to stopping from happening?
From trying to worry about these things and just writing the novel.
No. That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, by you having that worry, right? By you having that worry, well, what if no one reads it? You then are waiting for a flow state, but not letting that flow state have, right?
Yeah.
So there's something that you're preventing by not writing the novel. You're preventing what feeling for you?
Wouldn't that be the flow state, I guess?
No. Again, this is really good. This is really good. For any of you who can stay with me because I want you to see what's happening. This is really good. Thank you so much, Junior, for participating. Okay. I want you to imagine that you are actually writing the novel and putting it out there. And the fear is, well, what if no one likes it? What if no one buys it? Right? So then my question to you is, what are you committed to not happen by not having the novel out there? What are you protecting yourself from? From what?
From the anxiety and fear of it?
Yes. So you have a commitment that says, I want to protect myself from the feeling of anxiety and fear that my novel was not appreciated and loved and bought by other people. Right?
Yes.
So the competing commitment is goal column 1. I want to write this novel. I want to get it out there. This is really exciting to me. But column 3 says, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to miss out on, I don't want to feel like people didn't like it. I don't want that to happen. So the assumption you have about the world is what? If I put my novel out there, what is the assumption that you have?
I assume there are people that are not going to like it.
Exactly. So Junior, this is what you have to do to understand how to stop and end self-defeating behavior. For everyone who's watching, for anyone who had to jump off, you need to tell them this. Junior, I don't want you to focus on that improvement goal. You know how you said, hey, get a goal that's going to change your life? I don't want anyone to focus on it. Whatever you wrote down in column 1, that is not your focus, my friends. And you know what's not your focus, Junior and everyone else? It's not worrying about the behaviors that go against your goals. It's not even important. And you know what's not else important? Why you even have those hidden competing commitments in the first place? Those worries.
Because we're humans?
The only thing I want you to worry about, it doesn't matter why. The why is irrelevant. The only thing I want you to do, Junior, is test your assumptions. You have assumptions that say, well, if I put this reading out there, people might not like it. You have to test. How can you test those assumptions to see if that assumption is actually true or not?
By putting it out there?
Putting what out there?
My book.
But what if a book is a lot? I mean, is there any way to break that down to see if people are interested in some of the topics?
Actually, I've already done that. I've put out like 5 chapters of my book.
That's still a lot. I mean, 5 chapters is a lot. Is there anything you could do that's even smaller than that to test the assumptions?
1 chapter.
So what I would ask you to do is, come up with ways to test, do people like or dislike it? Now, let me ask you this, Junior. What if someone's, and this is the age of the troll. What if someone says bad things about your stuff? What then?
I take it as constructive criticism. I'll see if it works out in my head to see if it's relevant constructive criticism, and if they're not just like bashing me for my writing.
Right. So maybe you
and
can come
being
out with
hateful. So
right. So you come out with an article or a summary, or you give the overview of what your book is about, post it on social media or blogs or wherever you could get like where potential readers might be, right? And see like what feedback do you get? Now, if someone says, yo, this is a great idea, but have you thought about this? Or what about this? Or what about that? You go, oh, that's good feedback. Thank you. But if someone goes, you write like a second grader, you're just a stupid little doo-doo face.
yeah, that's not. I just ignore them. It's not constructive criticism.
Because that's not helpful. But what you
Yeah.
have, if your biggest competing commitment is, well, you know what? I don't want to put it out there and people won't like it. You got to test if people will like it. All you have to do, my friend Junior, is start creating content and putting it out there and seeing if people like it or not. That's how you test it.
Well, like YouTube?
YouTube, Medium, Facebook, LinkedIn, Quora, wherever you can post it and get feedback. Instagram, do it. Absolutely. That's how you test your assumptions, my friend. So thank you, Junior. Thank you for volunteering. I appreciate that. So this is what I want everyone to do.
Thank you as well.
Yes,
Just
thank
help.
you, Junior. I want everyone to spend the break, okay? We're coming back at 2 p.m. Is that right, Jason? 2 p.m., you're going to have Jessica Jenner. Jessica is one of my favorite humans in the world. She is a powerful powerhouse. I'm so fortunate to do this work with her today, and she does the afternoon, and I'm going to be working with her again next week. But this is what I want you all to focus on between now and Jessica's session at 2 p.m. What are ways for you to test the assumptions you have about the world? George, I'll tell you how you can test your assumptions. Go ahead and spend 30 minutes turning off your phone and doing your work and seeing if the world comes to an end. I'm going to do 30 minutes of work and I'm going to test, do I feel less connected to people? After the 30 minutes, when I come back and turn my notifications on and I see if people text me, if I text them 30 minutes after they text me, do we still have a connection? And you know what, George, you might be right. You might be right. Maybe you can't turn your notifications off because you need those people here, but you don't know and I don't know, and you have to test it, my friend, okay? Because what you might find is in a 30-minute window when you study, nothing happens in the outside world. That couldn't wait until 30 minutes after you were done studying. But you don't know because you've never tested it. That's all I want you to do. Test your assumptions. You have a way that you believe the world works, okay? You believe the world works a certain way. Test your assumptions. So here's what I want you to do. When Jessica comes back at 2 o'clock and you come back to join her, okay, get some food, do some thinking, feel free to start the day off while we're waiting to come up with ways on how you're going to test your assumption. Come up with ways on how you're going to, okay, well, if I believe this is true, what can I do to see if it actually is true? And then, my friends, you'll be able to understand why you're sabotaging yourself because you know what your hidden competing commitments are, and you now know how to test them to see if they're true or not true. And if you understand what your goals are, what you do instead of those goals, if you understand what you're worried about if you achieve the goal and then what you're committed to, and then you can test if it's true, you will never let sabotage rule you again, because instead of being afraid of change, you can understand the DNA of it. Thank you, Jason, for having me. I think this is when did I start speaking at Hostos, Jason? 2008, 7?
In the beginning.
Like whatever, it was a totally different time. Maybe it was 2007 or 8. And I've been here every year since. And I told Jason, Corona or not, nothing's stopping me from coming back to my Hostos family. Every single year I come back here because this is one of my favorite institutions and Jason is one of my favorite people. So thank you all for being here. And thank you, Jason, for being such an incredible leader, even during this pandemic. Jason takes no days off. I met him before he had a wife, before he had babies. He knew me when I had hair, and he's been rocking for you ever since. And let me tell you something, Jason is special. Do not take him for granted. If you do that, I will find you and I'll kick you in the back of the knees and make you fall. Okay? Don't do it. This dude cares, and he brings in people like me and Jessica later today, and folks like Lila and Gio and Christina and all the other incredible speakers, because he gives a damn about you and wants to see you do well. So the best way you can support Jason is by doing well in your own life. And I hope you do that by ending self-sabotage. And that's what we covered today.
And thank you, Arel. Yeah, I just want to reference a couple things with Arel. He did start all the way back in the beginning, back in 2008. He wasn't his own entity at that time. He was working for somebody else, but we developed a relationship, and he brought all of his magic to us. And for years he would come, 3 or 4 times a year. And now he's so busy I can only get him once a year. So I'm happy that he was able to join us for the winter workshops this year. And I also want to give him credit for something, because before I started to plan the winter workshops, as I mentioned the other day, we didn't have the funding that we normally had for this. And I said to my friend, my colleague, my superhero, can you help me out with finding some people who are interested in sharing themselves with my group? Because I don't want to not have a winter workshop series. I don't want to miss a year. We missed a year once because of budget. That's why we're 14 years old and we've only had 13 of these. And he said yes, and he helped me find Lila and Dan, and he definitely put in a word with Jessica and Gio. And so I appreciate you for that, Arel. You're a man of your word. You are committed to the work that you do. I truly appreciate that. I know that you make impact. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it. I've been in big crowds with you. I've been in small groups with you. He's also a great person to know and stay in touch with. I've watched him over the years communicate with members of our group as they've graduated and moved on, and stay in touch with him. So if you can connect with him in his social media platforms, he's a great person to know, because he will also keep you on the track. He won't push you unless you ask him to push you. But once you tell him that you want to be pushed, he will press every button to make sure that you get to the places that you want to go. So Arel, thank you very much. Virtual applause, or however we do this. I don't know, it's a little crazy world. And this afternoon we're going to go out with a bang, with skyrockets, with what was it? All of the explosive devices fireworks that happen on 4th of July with Jessica Jair. And Jessica has been here in this workshop, and she's awesome. So we hope to see you back at 2 p.m. and get some food and think a little bit. And
also, I'm gonna jump in here, Jason. Yanira's been doing a great job of posting links about if you're interested in joining the Hostos Student Leadership Academy. So if you haven't been seeing those links, she posted it one more time. I'm sorry to jump in on you, Jason, but she's been doing such a great job of posting that. If you want to join the Student Orientation Services team or the Emerging Leaders Group, please, please, please click on those links, because I promise you the people who join this program are the leaders and the movers and shakers who are going to be rock stars in a couple of years. And if you want to get a little bonus tip, it makes sense to make friends with people now before they blow up, because then you can be friends with them from way back when. And the people who are involved and engaged on every campus is the small percentage that become rock stars in the future. It's just how it works. So build these connections, relationships, get the access and opportunities that the SLA allows you to get. So please, please, please become an ambassador, get connected. No matter what you're doing, this is what will change your life. I've seen it for too many years to not say that. So sorry for jumping in, Jason, but it's just too important to not say.
Thank you, Arel. And we'll see you back. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you later on. Thanks. Bye. Thanks, Arel.